It is Saturday, the 5th of July, 2025. We're looking at the waxing gibbous moon, more than half full moon, heading towards a full moon down the road a little bit. We're in pretty hazy, cloudy skies. It's after sunset. I thought the clouds might light up pink after sunset, but it looks like that's not going to happen tonight. So it's pretty boring video. I see a darkish cloud moving across here, so the moon will be even more obscured than it was. And then off to the right, out of the frame, I can see that it will have less dense cloud in some minutes, but not sure what I want to do here. Should perhaps mention I'm using a Sigma 150 to 600 millimeter zoom lens set to 600, but I'm also using a Sigma Apo teleconverter, 1.4 times teleconverter. So that brings the focal length up to 840 millimeters. The aperture on the lens is set to f11. But with the teleconverter eating up a stop of light, it's really f16. We're at 320 ISO and a 25th of a second. 25th of a second is the slowest shutter speed I can use in video mode. I have the video set to 24 frames per second, and so I obviously can't use a shutter speed slower than the 24 frames, a 24th of a second. So we're right on the edge of things in terms of shutter speed. Yeah, excuse me, hope I don't make you yawn, whoever you are watching this video, if you watched it this far, which I'd be surprised if you actually did. You never know, eh? So the moon's popping out. Yeah, it's getting thinner. The cloud, we can see the moon more. We can see it brightening up a little. So we're just going to let it run through the frame here, slowly moving across the frame and slowly rising up through it. It's near its apogee, whatever term you want to use, apex of its, what's the word? There's a zenith, I think is the word we're looking for. So it's close to the highest point in the sky that it'll be, but I think it is still rising. Oh, that's nice. It's, yeah, the cloud is thinned considerably, and so now we have this nice white moon. We can see the craters in the Maria. So this is actually very nice. Pretty close to what I'm seeing with the unaided eye, although the sky is darker. If I exposed the sky to be closer to what it is, then the moon would wash out. There'd be less detail in the moon. It would just sort of be this white semicircle. Oh, look, a thin cloud going across there, sort of. Yeah. Okay, so we can see the thin cloud moving across. And what's happening? Yeah, okay. So yeah, it looks like there's some little wispy clouds moving across the sun. You can even... What? Oh, no. So this young kid walks... Let's see. Thank you. Kid walks up to me and hands me a hot flatbread. Very tasty. Very nice. Not quite sure what kind of bread it is. I don't want to speculate too much, but it looks like a family. Like there's a man holding some stuff across the street, and he had a few kids in him. And so he sent one of the boys across with this flatbread, and it really is very nice. So yeah, thank you very much, sir. Oh, this is actually quite nice. Very nice footage. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to let the moon wander across the frame there as the Earth rotates. I mean, this is all about the rotation of the Earth. It's not so much the moon that's moving as us guys. And this is very nice. And it's hot. This is a hot flatbread. I'm not sure what kind, but I'm presuming some Middle Eastern type of flatbread. So yeah, we're just gonna, I think we're gonna let this run a bit. Although the moon's getting very close to the edge. But what I'm gonna do is I'm not going to end this clip. I'm going to soon just pan to the right so the moon's more on the left side and allow it to continue to move up through the frame. I'm very happy with this footage we have here. I think I'll do it now. So that's it. We'll just let the moon continue to rise up through the frame. Let the wispy clouds move across it. I'm debating raising the ISO a little bit, but I think this is pretty good as it is. Could lighten things up a little, but I don't want to lose detail in the surface of the moon, especially when it gets brighter like it is now. I'd rather have a darker sky. And I mean, if I didn't tell you this, you wouldn't know. You'd think, oh, that's what it looked like. But no, there's a difference in exposure level between the sky and the moon that the camera can't handle in terms of dynamic range. So you have to expose for one or the other. And, you know, as a rule, I expose for the moon. I want to see the craters and the Mare and so on. So this is pretty darn good footage, and we're just going to let it continue and enjoy our flatbread here. I'm actually already kind of stuffed. I had a very nice hamburger and fries and a couple of large Cokes. Oh, and a cappuccino. Yeah, I splurged and had a cappuccino tonight. So, yeah, don't have an empty belly at this point. Yeah, very happy what we're seeing here. So let's see what we got. The thicker cloud has moved across. We're now in the back to the sort of the hazy, thin cloud. It looks like there might be some thicker cloud coming along a bit later. And then the sky's clearing up a bit off to the right. So the cloud is moving from right to left. I can see there's a kind of an edge where the cloud sort of thins out a lot, almost completely, and it's basically clearish sky. Not totally clear, but considerably less hazy. Oh yeah, like right now, we're getting back to a situation where the moon is getting somewhat invisible. I think I will adjust the exposure now to make it easier to see the moon. So I just raised the ISO by 2/3 of the stop. So it's up at 500 ISO now. F11 on the lens, F16 in real life with the teleconverter eating up the stop. 25th of a second. And the moon is still kind of murky, barely visible. The sky is still not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a pale gray sky. I'm not seeing a blue sky here. Basically pale, light gray. But as I said, if I didn't tell you this, you probably wouldn't know. And as it is, it looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, you barely even see the moon at this point. But we're just sort of messing around a bit. I actually had thought of putting on a much more powerful, well actually I was going to have the same lens, but with a 3 times teleconverter. So that would make 600 millimeters into 1800 millimeters. It would make 500 millimeters into 1500 millimeters. And it would make 400 millimeters into 1200 millimeters. You know, and it would make 300 into 900. Obviously, we're almost at 900 right now with the lens at 600 and using only a 1.4 times teleconverter. And we're pretty happy with what we've got here. We don't need a huge moon, especially if we want to see, you know, some of the clouds in the sky around it and so on. It looks like it's coming out again. You can see how hazy it is. You can sort of see the lack of sharpness, sort of this glow. But I'd say, oh, this is interesting because, as I said, there's like an edge to the cloud, and after that it clears up. But I'm also seeing at the edge there's a little clump of darker clouds that are going to pass across the moon. As we can see, things are getting pretty murky again. But in some minutes, some even thicker clouds are going to pass right across the moon from the look of things. So I'm thinking, again, I'm going to pan to the left to put the moon, sorry, I'm going to pan the camera to the right to put the moon back over on the left side. And I think I will adjust the exposure a little bit lighter. Not yet. Let those little clouds pass first. But definitely atmospheric footage, shall we say. Okay, here we go. So we opened up a third of a stop only. We went up to 640 ISO. And you know, sometimes a third of a stop can make a pretty big difference. So I wouldn't want to open up any more than this right now. I like what I see. And we'll let this run. The thicker clouds that I thought were going to pass across front of the moon, I don't see them anymore, so I'm not quite sure what happened. But we're just going to let this footage continue. Let's see. We're getting close to the point where the moon will be in a considerably less hazy sky, put it that way. And then there's more clouds coming. There's actually some quite thick cloud off to the right that I can see coming that will cover the moon in some minutes. But in the meantime, it will be in a almost clear sky. You know, slightly hazy. I like this. We're getting this nice glow. You can see that little glow around the moon there. A little bit of wind vibration. So, what to do? I didn't want the moon to be too high in the frame because I wanted to give it space to rise up through the frame, but I think it's getting close to the maximum height above the horizon to achieve tonight. And it's a very shallow angle in any case. So it's almost horizontal. So I'm just debating if I want to make another adjustment where the moon's a bit higher in the frame. What to do, what to do. Since there's not much happening right now, like the moon is in clear-ish sky, slightly hazy, but no obvious cloud, and yet it's starting to wash out. Like I adjusted the exposure brighter, but it's getting to a point now where I really should adjust downwards. So I think what I'm going to do is just end this clip, reframe, readjust, and then start again when the cloud I see is going to start passing in front of the moon again. That's it for now.